There's something quietly devastating about the way addiction seeps into our lives. It doesn't always crash through the door with a bottle or a needle. Sometimes it's your 9th Instagram scroll in under a minute. Sometimes it's needing that one text reply just to feel okay. Sometimes it's the 2nd episode, then the 3rd, then the entire season. At first it feels normal, until one day it doesn't set. Because you say, not chasing the high anymore. You are escaping a low. And the most terrifying part? Most of us don't even know where that low comes from. If you asked Swiss psychologist Carl Jung how to treat addiction, he wouldn't start with detox. He wouldn't even begin with the behavior. He said, ask about your soul. Jung believed addiction isn't such the problem. It's such the symptom. We live in a world that is dopamine deprived and stimulus obsessed. Our brains are constantly reaching for ways to feel better, yet trapped in the same exhausting loop. Dopamine, the chemical of motivation and reward, is drying up, not only because of what we do, but because of what we don't understand about ourselves. Jung called this the disconnection from the self. Not your ego, not your job title, yourself, the deepest, most integrated version of who you are, the part that's connected to creativity, meaning, and purpose. Addiction, Jung argued, is a spiritual thirst, a cry from the unconscious, not just for relief, but for wholeness. In his words, every form of addiction is bad, no matter whether the narcotic be alcohol, morphine, or idealism. What he meant was simple. It is not the substance, it's such the emptiness. And this is where modern approaches often fail. We treat the habit, but we don't meet the human. We patch the leak, but we ignore the cracked foundation. Jung believed true healing only begins when we are brave enough to face the shadow, the parts of ourselves we save buried, the parts we have judged, the parts we have feared, the parts that are desperate to be seen, not silenced. And if that feels overwhelming, you are not alone. Because here steps the truth. The shadow isn't evil. It's such repressed energy. And paradoxically, it's where the healing lives. But here rests the incredible part. Jung didn't just leave us with theory. He left us a map, a psychological and spiritual toolkit to reintegrate what's been lost. Tools that explain why the dopamine is gone and how to restore it naturally, not by chasing pleasure, but by aligning with purpose. And in this video, we're going to explore those tools, practical ones, spiritual ones, ones you can start using today. So stay until the end, because what you'll discover isn't just how to treat addiction, it's how to finally hear the part of you that's been crying out through it. And before we continue, if you love expanding your mind and exploring the deeper layers of life, make sure to subscribe to Fractal Wisdom so you never miss a step on this journey inward. Now, if addiction is the symptom, not the cause, what's underneath it? Let's talk about dopamine, not as a buzzword, but as a messenger. Dopamine isn't just the feel-good chemical. It's the fuel behind every action that makes life worth living. It sets motivation, anticipation, reward. It sets the ping of a message, the first bite of dessert, the soft text that says, thinking of you. And when dopamine runs low, life turns gray, flat, uninspired. That sits when the craving begins. But here's the catch. Dopamine depletion doesn't begin with Netflix or junk food or your phone. It starts way earlier. It starts with emotional suppression, with growing up in environments where authenticity had a cost, where maybe you had to be the good kid, the strong one, the fixer, so you learned to push your needs aside just to survive. And in doing so, you disconnected from yourself. Jung called this psychic splitting. It sets when you bury the parts of you that weren't set welcome and wear a mask instead. And what does the brain do with that kind of chronic disconnection? It searches, it grasps, it chases. Some look for it in a bottle, others in a partner or a screen. But it was never about the thing. It was always about the feeling, that fleeting spark of meaning, that whisper of I was enough, even if just for a moment. So here we are, not caught in addiction, but in a loop. Inner emptiness, dopamine crash, escape behavior, shame, and back to emptiness again. Carl Jung understood that breaking this cycle was never about willpower. It was about integration. He once wrote, "We don't just become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." That means turning toward the part of you that seeps hurting, not running from it. It means asking yourself, what pain is this addiction trying to anesthetize? What part of me did I abandon in order to cope? This is where Jung's approach radically diverges from traditional models. He didn't just want you sober, he wanted you whole. And that wholeness begins with awareness, with seeing the patterns not as failures, but as clues, little smoke signals from the unconscious, guiding you home. This is why Jung treated dreams as sacred, why he studied symbols and archetypes, because they are messages from the forgotten parts of ourselves, the child, the rebel, the healer, the wounded one, all still alive inside you. And until we make space for them, we'll keep chasing wholeness in things that were never designed to complete us. But here sits the good news. The moment you stop seeing addiction as a failure and start seeing it as a message, is the moment true healing begins. Addiction is not who you are. It is a coping mechanism your psyche created to shield you from a pain you were never given the tools to process. But now, you was ready. You're sure curious, and that is everything. So let's explore 3 tools, practical, spiritual, and soul nourishing, that can help reconnect you with your deeper self and reveal what lies beneath those compulsive patterns. These tools aren't set about fighting addiction. They serve about listening to it. Tool 1. Shadow work. Carl Jung's most revolutionary idea was the shadow, the hidden part of the psyche where we store everything we have rejected, denied, or judged about ourselves. The anger, the sadness, the jealousy, the fear, even the hunger to feel powerful, loved, or seen. These parts don't just vanish, they go underground, and they leak out through addictions, projections, and patterns. Shadow work is the art of bringing the unconscious into the light. It begins by asking, what part of me have I locked away because I thought it was unacceptable? What truth am I afraid to face, but desperately need to? You can start with journaling. Write down, if my addiction had a voice, what would it say to me? Don't judge. Don't censor. Just listen. You may be surprised how much truth is waiting just beneath the surface. Tool 2. Breath work. Now, Jung never taught breath work, but if he lived today, he might see it as one of the most direct portals to the unconscious through the body. Breathwork is the practice of using rhythmic, conscious breathing to bypass the thinking mind and tap into stored emotional energy. Your breath is unique. It's the one function that's both automatic and under your control. And when you use it deliberately, it becomes a key. Conscious breathing, especially in circular or connected patterns, tells your nervous system it's safe now. You can release. What happens next can be profound. Tears, laughter, shaking, surges of clarity, even memories long forgotten. This isn't said just emotional detox. It sets integration. You're clearing the blocks that addiction tried to numb. Addiction numbs. Breathwork reveals. And sometimes, even in a single session, you realize what you were craving wasn't set as substance. It was yourself. Tool 3, symbolic ritual. Carl Jung often said, the soul speaks in images. This is why symbols, dreams, and rituals carry such raw power. They bypass the intellect and speak straight to the unconscious. Because when you settle lost in addiction, it's not just your habits that are out of sync. It sets your inner world, silenced and ignored. Ritual reopens that dialogue. Here is a simple but powerful practice. Find a quiet space, light a candle, an ancient symbol of purification. Sit with a mirror, look into your own eyes, not to criticize, not to judge, but to witness. Say aloud, I know I have been trying to escape something. I don't as fully understand it yet, but I am here, ready to listen. Then, write a letter to the part of you that's addicted, not to shame it, to understand it. Fold the letter, place it under the candle. Let it burn for 15 minutes as you breathe and stay present. This isn't set about fixing. It's about reconnecting, letting your deeper self know you are not alone anymore. And so, now that we've looked at the symptoms, met the shadow, and begun the work of reconnection, we come to the real alchemy, the transformation. Because healing addiction is not about breaking a habit. It's about becoming someone new, or rather someone truer. It's about answering the call that addiction was trying to silence all along. Jung called this individuation, the journey of becoming your whole self. Not perfect, not polished, but integrated. Most people believe healing means going back to who they were before the addiction. But Jung would tell you, that version of you was already split, already disconnected, already suffering. The goal isn't set to go back. It heads to go through, to emerge as the version of you who feels whole without needing to escape. So what does this look like in everyday life? Step 1. Create a life that feeds your soul, not just your schedule. Jung believed most neuroses came from a life not lived. That includes the job that drains you, the relationships that numb you, the routines that suffocate your spirit. You don't heal in a vacuum. You heal in an environment that reflects your truth. So ask yourself, what in my life feeds the addiction? And what feeds my authenticity? Start small. One honest conversation, one boundary honored, one act of creativity, one moment of presence. These are not acts of discipline, they are acts of soul. Step 2. Let meaning replace stimulation. Addiction thrives in a life that is overstimulated and underconnected. We scroll instead of speak, binge instead of reflect, consume instead of create. So instead of asking, how do I stop the habit? Ask, what is this craving asking for emotionally, spiritually? Replace dopamine loops with meaning loops. Create art without judging it. Sit in silence and ask yourself what you feel. Read something that stirs your soul, not just entertains. Spend time with people who hold space, not just fill silence. When your life becomes a place where your true self is welcome, addiction begins to loosen its grip. Step 3. See relapse as a messenger, not a failure. Jung was clear. Healing isn't set linear. The unconscious doesn't move in straight lines. It spirals. It circles. It repeats until the lesson is integrated. So if relapse happens, it isn't said shameful. It says information. Your psyche is saying, you missed something. Look again. You are not back at square one. You stare at a deeper layer of the spiral. And this time, you have tools. Awareness, language, compassion, community. The real miracle is when addiction becomes the very reason you found yourself. When the thing that once broke you becomes the doorway to your liberation. Because individuation is not self-improvement. It sets not even recovery. It is reclamation. The return of all the lost parts of you. The shadow, the child, the dreamer, the seeker, woven into one coherent, radiant life. So if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. This is your return. If this journey has spoken to you, even in a whisper, comment below. I7, coming home. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Fractal Wisdom for more content that doesn't just skim the surface, but dives straight into the soul. Because you are not broken, you are becoming, and your real self is waiting.